do all that stuff. Even more restricted than before, but hopefully the new setup looks good. And this out. Okay. Alright, we should be live now. Check the audio real quick. Okay. Alright. Sounds good? Alright, Twitch side. We're up. Good to go. Alright, how about YouTube side? Yeah. Alright. Awesome. Perfect. Rise. You might notice some things are a little different. The setup has changed again. You can now see my leg. We got leg cam. Got leg cam. Oh, it's hot in here. Okay. No, sorry about that. All right, so hopefully with this new setup, you'll be able to see a lot more, and I won't be, my hands won't just be in the way all the time. Hopefully. We are painting Sisters today. Sisters of Battle, of course. Those are going to be fun. Turn those. Normally they're over here. We're going to put them over here. I wanted them to look good in the shot instead of that be empty, but they're just going to keep rolling. So, first thing we're going to do here. We're probably only going to get one sister done tonight because this is a brand new task for me. Now, when it came to the Blood Angels, or when it came to the Intercession kill team, or when it came to the Thousand Sons kill team, I had already painted one of each of those beforehand, so I knew what I was doing. I have not done that this time. I thought it'd be more interesting to show the process as we get into that this time, which is also why you'll be able to see my phone is up here with the actual, like, hey, here's what we're doing. Here's what we're going for, because we're going for Order of Mar-Martyred Lady, which means, of course, we're going to have to go with Black Templar because we're using contrast paint. We're going to have to go with Black Templar, Nazarick Yellow, Flesh Tearers Red, Blood Angels Red, Silk Canum Gray, Apothecary White, and some Snake Bite Leather. So, you know, it's, I'm a little nervous. I won't lie to you. I've never tried to paint a model in a line the first time live. We've always done that off camera. And I'm a little nervous that the setup is going to break with the new tripods. But we're going to take it slow. We're going to take our time. And we're going to make this Sister of Battle look great. Use our smallest brush available. Go in here. And then I think we start with the black, I think, because that's the biggest color, the main color on the model. We got to be very cautious here. We don't want to pick up our paint. We don't want to get too much of this black on here. They were primed white, which I realize now that we're going with Order of Mar-Martyred Lady might have been a mistake. Might have been easier to prime than black. But, you know, a little bit extra water on the brush, so we're just going to get rid of that real quick. I'll specify that these are not my sisters. These are my girlfriend's sisters, so I'm even more nervous. But that's okay. We're going to do a great job. Yeah, I saw that today, Iggy. It was a big bummer. Kevin Conroy is one of the greats for sure. Never be anybody like him again. Not just a great voice actor, but like a great person. Yeah, it is her Sisters of Battle, Jive Turkey. Thanks, man. I was so excited about the new layout for the cameras, but I've now realized that no matter which way I paint, you're not going to be able to see exactly what I'm painting. Unless I come up, like, up here. And even then the camera decided not to autofocus, so that's wonderful. So, you know, we're going to have to tweak the cameras more. Yeah, she entrusted me with her Sisters of Battle when the poll went that way. So I have to do them justice. I think we're going to come back over those spikes with some Basilicata Gray just to make them pop. Also, like I said, definitely going to overhaul the cameras somewhat. We need to change the focus on this one because it's not focusing at all unless I bring them real close. And I'm not going to paint it all the way over here, you know? You can't see what I mean by all the way over here, but it's like my arm's fully extended to paint it over there. So what we might do is just like tilt this one slightly. Oh boy, yeah. I was all excited about the new camera setup, and this is not working at all the way I thought it would. All right, so what we're going to do then... no, don't fall. Here. Then I'm going to have to lean in close, I guess. Like a little goblin. Be able to paint where you can see. Maybe the old setup was better. In hindsight. But don't go away. Okay. I'll have to fix that. No. I don't want black on the top of that. That's going to be white. We're gonna have to tweak this setup real quick. I was all excited because I got these new tripods set up and I was like, this is perfect. You're gonna be able to see everything that I'm doing. But I think now instead we're gonna have to just like zone it in here. We'll change the focus on this. Okay, that should be pretty. It does give me freedom of movement back right here. Like I was saying at the start of this episode, we are probably only going to get one sister in tonight. Because with the Blood Angels and with the Blood Angels and with the Thousand Sons, I had practiced one before, basically. I've not done that now. This is all brand new for me. Painting an Order of Our Martyred Lady, Sister of Battle. But I think she's going to look pretty great when we're done. I like the Sisters of Battle a lot. Especially the Order of Armored Lady. Get into the lore in just a second. Go to move on to this next piece. I just want to focus in on this backpack real quick. Get it looking good before we move on. I want a nice dark coat on there because the Order of Armored Lady always has like a really good dark coat. That'll work. All right. So now we're going to move on to the helmet. I do need my picture back up. Okay. Move it over so you can see it, chat. So it's going to be out of focus and blurry for you. All right. So the Sisters are really cool in that they're like still human. They're not as super soldiery as Space Marines, but they're pretty close. Like, they're about as far from human as you can get while still being human. You know? Their whole thing is that a long time ago, they were worshiping the Emperor. They were having a good time. You know, everything was great. No problems there. They're loving life. And then, in the middle of that, this guy named Goj Vandire shows up. And this guy, Goj Vandire, he's kind of a jerk. I think this new camera angle is actually working a lot better than I thought it would. I should probably just bring this one back down and have it stand up like right here. Ow. And then it'll probably be better too. But I think this works a lot better actually. Anyway, this guy, Goj Vandire, he was being a huge jerk. And he was like, hey, you guys worship the Emperor, right? And they were like, yeah. Yeah, the Emperor's our boy. He's our dude. He's who we want to follow. We believe that, you know, his light will save us all from the dark. And Goj Vandire's like, okay, cool, yeah, that's great. Actually, I'm taking over the Ecclesiarchy, which was the church in 40K. I'm taking them over. And the Emperor wants you to help me. They were like, okay, yeah, sure. I mean, I guess if that's what the Emperor wants. But first you got to prove that you're, you know, actually sent by the Emperor. Otherwise, we're not going to help you. And Goj is like, okay, well then shoot me. Shoot me and the Emperor will protect me. And that'll prove to you that I'm from the Emperor. And they were like, what? He was like, yeah, shoot me. And so they did. And Goj had what's called an STC, which is like an old artifact from the previous age. From the dark age of technology. And it stopped the bullet. And so Alicia Dominica is like, oh, wow, you must be from the Emperor then. He's protected you. We'll do what you say as long as it's the Emperor's will. And Goj is like, yeah, it will be. Don't worry. It totes will always be the Emperor's will. Definitely not what I want. Definitely what the Emperor wants. 100%. And so they start becoming like his personal army almost. Going and doing anything that he orders them to do. And they super aren't happy with this because the stuff he's ordering them to do isn't great. But they believe the Emperor's ordering it. So they're not going to go against the Emperor, you know? Well, anyway, at one point, Alicia Dominica gets grabbed by some custodes, and they're like, hey, you got to come with us to the throne room of the Emperor. She's like, all right, cool, I guess. And they take her to the throne room of the Emperor. And nobody knows what conversation happened there. Most likely the Emperor gave her a vision that was like, hey, that guy doesn't actually work for me. In fact, I kind of hate him. But Alicia Dominica walked out of there and murdered Goge Vandire. So, you know. Most likely, Emperor was like, hey, that I don't like that guy, kill him. And then instead of just like dissolving their order, the Imperium decided to keep them around as the Sisters of Battle. And one of each of Alicia Dominica's like right-hand people led an order. And the Bloody Rose, or not Bloody Rose, Armored Lady was originally the Flaming Rose, something like that. Don't remember the exact name for it. Until St. Catherine, who was in charge of them, died. And they all like mourned her so much that they renamed the entire order to the Order of Our Martyred Lady, talking about Lady Catherine. They even have a model called the Triumph of St. Catherine that is just like her tomb. They just carry her tomb into battle and it gives people superpowers. And like really cool artifacts and stuff. It's really sick. But that's why we call them nuns with guns. Because, I mean, that's kind of what they are. They're sick, though. String Storm on YouTube has a really good sister. He makes a lot of music. Has a really good Sisters of Battle song. Again, I know we're being really slow and careful here. It's because this one is also the template. This one decides what all the rest of them are going to be like. Alright, so they went for gold on the hoses there with the Nasrid yellow. Alright, that means we got to be really careful here. We need to get the underside of the faceplate with the black. Yeah, I need to fix where this camera's set up at, but I like this new setup for this camera a lot. I was really excited for the setup that I'd come up with. Thought it was going to be really good, but, you know, this setup is ever evolving and changing. The other cool thing about the Sisters is that on the tabletop, they get a bunch of cool rules that are based around like miracle die that they can use, which let them do like really cool stuff, like guarantee they get a 6 when they need it. They're a really cool faction. For a while, I wanted to collect them, but then I fell in love with the Blood Angels. But now I get to paint them, so that's cool. I think I want this thick on the armor here. I want that black to be nice and thick. All right. Let's get the inside of the chest armor here in black, where it meets the pauldron. Here. On this side. Okay. I think we're done with the black, honestly. I think out of all the ones that we've done... Oh, no, we got to get the edge of the inside here, the back. Out of all the ones that we've done, I think that we've got a really good grasp of the base coat here on this one. Switch goes down the rest of the groups like a +1 bonus. Yeah! It's very cool and thematic. The Order of the Martyrs. Alright. Go away on me now. Okay, I think next we do either the white and get all the detail work there, or we could do the reds. We actually have 2 different color reds. I'm going to come back with some Basilicanum Gray on the spikes on the backpack. We've got a lot of white to do. Can't really see what I'm doing here, so you just see my arm. Watch that wind up being the thumbnail. Okay. Brush is all nice and dried off now. All right, let's do the white. Ugh. All right, Apothecary white. Of course, the first part of this is going to be wet. Don't want that. Dry. Should be pretty good. Now we start getting the helmet. May take a couple of runs of this Apothecary white. That is still far more wet than I thought it was going to be. All right, let's try drying that off some more. And again. Okay. There we go. That's more the consistency we wanted. Really just want to bring out the prime work. Trust me when I say that I know Apothecary white looks gray. When it dries, it looks a lot more white. It is still kind of grayish. It's not Corax white, and at some point we may come back over this with Corax white. But that's what they say to use. They say use Apothecary white, so that's what I'm doing. Mixed it up good, too. It is still very, very wet. I don't think we have any Corax white. Not really liking that Apothecary white. I don't know if maybe this Apothecary white is just mixed wrong. Running around in white face. Might have some Corax white that's not contrast paint in the other room. Since we're just doing highlight work, it would work. Trying to see if I can get this to mix better. May just have to go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way. Which is think our Apothecary White might have separated too much. Just not great. Because as you can see, as it's drying, it's still very, very gray. Maybe just another coat? We'll try another coat of it and see. Either way, I am not too happy with the development. For sure. I mean, you can even see on my sheet here how much of it is just water. But it's better mixed than it was before. It's definitely lighter than it was before. So maybe that'll make the difference. I don't know, this is the first time that I've been actually, like, disappointed in a contrast paint so far. We'll let it dry as we work on more stuff, and we'll see. We'll see as we go. Let's do the reds. The reds are always really nice in contrast paint. They look good. Get your attention. But if we can't count on Apothecary White to be white, then we may have to change that up and get a different white for the rest of them. And then just come back over this with it. Because it actually looks darker than when it was just primed. We'll see. I do need to add a little bit on the backpack here. We'll see once it dries. We can always come back over it with some Corax White. I find Corvex White to be a really funny name when it's based off Corvus Corax, the character who is definitely like not. He goes with dark colors most of the time. All right, this is my favorite contrast paint that they make. Blood Angels Red. I love the way Blood Angels Red looks. We're gonna use it on the sleeves. On both sides. And then we're going to use Flesh Tearers Red on the cape. You'll see what I mean here. It just really pops. We're not going to make it quite as thick as we did on my Blood Angels, because I wanted them to be darker. Oh, I do see some spots we missed the black. We forgot to get our hands. I'll have to come back through and get those. Alright, now for this other sleeve. There's a lot of cool stories about sisters in the lore. Probably like the most well-known one among 40k fans is Saint Celestine, the living saint. The one that the Emperor brought back. She actually uses St. Catherine's stuff that we mentioned earlier. St. Catherine's sword. There we go. And as you can see, that just really makes those sleeves pop comparatively to the rest of the model so far. Yeah, those just still look gray, man. That's unfortunate. I may have to put some acetone on a Q-tip and scrub that so it doesn't wind up too thick. And then put some Corvus Corax, or not Corvus Corax, some Corax White on there. All right. Well, that's our Blood Angels red. We'll wash our brush, but we're just going to put more red on it. But it will be a different shade of red. I'm really disappointed, actually. It's the first time that I've been disappointed by a contrast paint, really, so far. The yellow and the blue running together on the contrast paint was not good, but part of that was my skill, too, right? If I was better and we did it over time and let the paints dry, it might be different. But the fact that it's just like, you know, not white when that's what it says it's supposed to be is really not cool to me. I'm not happy about that. All right, Flesh Chair's red, a little bit different. More of like a deep red. Almost like a mauve, I think would be the color you would say. And that's going to be for the sash and the cape. And it may look just like Blood Angels red right now, but you'll see as it dries, it's going to be a deeper color. Not different enough to like really stand out and make it seem like there's inconsistencies in the painting, you know, but different enough that it's going to look really cool, I think. That's the hard part, getting the edges of this without getting the leg. Oh, we got the edge of the gun. Granted, Basilicanum Gray is going to cover most of that up anyway, but still, we got to be real careful here. There we go. Okay, we get Flesh Chair's red on there. Back part of this. There. And so you can see the difference between the two shades of red. I like it. I like it a lot. She's really starting to come together. All right, now the back cape. Voldemort is a Lorch video on YouTube for 40K, and he has a really good story that he wrote about some Imperial Guard that had given up, that were facing an unending wave of chaos and cultists and would not have been able to hold the line and would have given up. And in the moment where they would give up, Celestine herself descends from the sky, and they're reinforced by the charging hordes of the Sisters of Battle. And it is a very, very cool story. As the Marine like regains his faith in the Emperor, and then runs back to the fight, yelling out, "For the Emperor!" Really, really sick stuff. Voldemort does great stuff on YouTube. But that's what the Sisters are like really good for, right? Like, they like to use flamers. They like to burn their enemies. They burn the heretics, right? But it's the fact that they give faith to everybody else. Their faith is unbreakable. There's only, like, a lot of fan stories have Sisters that give into chaos, but I think there's only been, like, one Sister of Battle that in lore has given into chaos. And she was killed shortly thereafter by her canoness to preserve her honor. Whereas, like, every other Space Marine story has a librarian given into chaos, you know? Their faith in the Emperor is unshakable. All right. That looks great. So happy with how that turned out. It's a little bit of wet in there. Maybe run that in a little bit more. But it'll just also give it that, like, tattered look. We may at some point come back through and mix in some snakebite leather just to make it shine a little more, but now we got to get the underside. I really like the sisters. It helps that their tanks are like cathedrals. And that one of the ways they use their tanks is just to drop things. Like out of orbit, drop them out of orbit on people. It does, doesn't it? I like that red a lot. Flesh Tearers red is great. Flesh Tearers are a weird chapter of Blood Angels. How am I going to get that interior of that cape? Like this? The Flesh Tearers are like the most vicious of all of Sanguinius' sons. Speaking of Sanguinius, Celestine is not the only living saint, not by far. There's a bunch of them. And one of them is the Sanguinor, which a lot of people think is Sanguinius himself, raised as a living saint by the Emperor to be able to fight again. There we go. I like the idea that Sanguinius, as the Sanguinor, and Celestine are just like best friends, rocking around the battlefield. Some people ship them, because of course they do, but it's pretty clear that Inquisitor Greyfax has a thing for Saint Celestine. And I don't want to get on the wrong side of Greyfax. She's scary. So, alright. I think we're good with the red there. Yeah, so I think now we'll do touch-up gold. We only have like a couple places. Oh, I forgot. We had to do the red in the eyes. This one's going to be fun. Ooh, look at that! Getting better at doing eyes without getting it all over the place. We got just a little bit of red on the faceplate, which honestly, that's not even a problem to be there. That looks sick being there, that little splash of red. Okay. Yeah. Okay. She would pop so much more right now if the white was white. Why can't the white just be white, man? All right. I'm almost done cleaning this red off. We have to get all the red off before we touch the gold. I need to get more of this size brush so that I don't have to worry about it so much. But I do not want the Flesh Tearers red mixing with that Nazarick yellow. That will not look great. It's going to turn it into a really dark looking brown. And I don't want that. All right, now we got to be real careful here because we don't need a lot of the gold at all. Oh, Trey, you could not have done that better again if you tried. Okay. Then we just get the little bit of ammo here because they use very special rounds. Then we get her symbol of the Emperor. Charm on the heel there. We're going to get the grenade in Basilicanum Gray. And right here, Fleur-de-Lis, as some people say. Okay, so that's the gold. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. You can't really see her good from any angle, but I don't want to lay her down because I don't want to mess up that red. But all right, now just like with the other, I don't need any of this yellow in either the gray or the brown. So give me just a minute here. Thinking I have that Corax white in here and I don't. That white's really bothering me. I don't know how obvious that is. I need Radagast the brown to help me declare war on the whites so that I can get this white to look right. All right, let's go Basilicanum Gray. Now we're going to mix in a little bit of that Basilicanum Gray right here on the spikes. On the backpack. So they pop a little more. Because right now they're kind of getting lost in there. We're going to use Basilicanum Gray here to make the ident tags light up. Then we're going to use it on the grenade. Very careful not to mix it into our reds. Alright, now we just need to get the heavy bolter. I guess this is just a regular bolt gun. This is not a heavy bolter. It's a bolter, but not a heavy bolt. Alright, we don't need to be too shy with our application of Basilicanum Gray here, because we do want it to look used for sure. And again, for anybody going, it's been 45 minutes almost, and you're only almost done with one sister. How are you going to get the whole kill team done? Well, we're not doing the whole kill team tonight, first off. This is our template. With all the other kill teams, I have painted the template off stream. For this one, figured it would be fun to show the painting of the template as I learn how to paint the Sister of Battle. So I've never painted one before. We're going to do something fancy to really make that bolter pop, too. But we're going to hold off on that for a minute. That is just gray, man. I'm so disappointed in that still. Okay. So now we need to get the pistol. And they didn't say to use snakebite leather on this. They said to just use Nazarick yellow. I don't want to do that. I think that having the gold, it needs to pop, right? The gold's there for a reason. And if we have the holster on the bolt pistol be the same gold as that of the rest of the model, I think that just ruins the specialness of that, right? It won't pop at all. So instead, we're going to run snakebite leather, which is my preferred way to do hilts. Not hilts, holsters. All right, and we're just gonna... We do that pretty thick. I like my snakebite leather pretty thick because I want it to pool a little bit. It gives the leather a weathered look that I really like. Makes it look like it's been through some stuff before. And it'll also make that charm on the back of the holster stand out just a little bit more. Even though it's gonna get a little bit more weathered from it as well, but it'll shine because of that, you know? We are gonna take a little bit of that extra off of there and then dab it just a smidge right there, because it did eat some of that. One thing you gotta be careful with dabbing it is that you're gonna take off part of that you want, so we're just gonna apply a second coat of it right here. There we go. Alright, now we just need to touch up black, and then I might run into the other room real quick and see if I got the Corax white. And if I do, then we might add the Corax white. If not, I'll add the Corax white myself later. I think the heavy arms that I was going to show off that we're building next week fell. But we're building heavy arms. All right, let's do some touch-up black. More specifically, we need to get the hands. Which will also make the red shine a little bit more for having them. I guess comparatively, now that everything else is painted, you do kind of see that apothecary white a little more, but it's still not as bright as I hoped it would be. Of course, that could be what I get for priming it gray instead of white. Alright, now one thing we're going to do to make this bolter pop just a little bit more is we're going to thin this out a lot. And then we're just going to put some black in there to really make this top part of the bolter pop as compared to the bottom parts, which will still be that darker gray, or that lighter gray. Just mix a little bit of that in there. Okay. Now let's see about touch up. Remembered seeing, yep, this spot here on the back. We need to touch up. A little bit on the top here. All right, I think that's pretty close to what we were looking for there. You know, now that everything else is colored in, that apothecary white doesn't actually look as bad as I thought it did. It's still not as bright as I want it to be, but I don't hate it. Right, here's what I'm going to do, chat. I'm going to put you on the break screen. I'm going to run in the other room, see if I have the Corax White. If I do, we'll put it on the wet palette, see what it looks like. If I don't, we'll call this, let it sit for a couple weeks, and see how we feel about that Corax White. Or that Apothecary White, because I don't want to add too many extra layers on it for fear that it's going to stand out. But I'll be right back. Let me go take a look. Okay, so I do have the Corax White. Now again, I've not used a base paint yet. I'm a little concerned about putting it on a model. So we're going to mix it up really good first and put it on the wet palette. That's not mixed up good enough. We're going to use our file again. I'm going to drip it in acetone later. Base paints, unfortunately, don't, they gotta be wet down and everything. Mix them again. But as you can tell, that's a lot more white than the other was. A lot more white. So, let's try this. A little bit of that on the brush. A little water mixed in there. Thin it down a little. When I say a little, I mean a lot. All right. I know I'm being completely quiet here. It's because I'm trying not to mess this up. We can always swab it back down with some acetone if we need to. Oh. Yep. Okay. We're going to have to swab it back down with some acetone. Yep. I messed it up. We were doing so well, and then I messed it up right there. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to call it tonight. I don't like that base paint at all. I also don't like the Apothecary White that I have. I'm going to get a different contrast white paint. I'm going to get acetone, and a swab, and we're gonna come back over and just swab all the parts that had white in them. We're going to redo the eyes, but that's fine. We meant to do some black around the shoulder pads and stuff to make it stand out again. But we're going to swab all that back down, and we're going to put a different contrast white on there. I don't know if it's going to be a Citadel one or not. It might wind up being a different company. Oh man, this base is everywhere over here now. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to make this look good. I think other than that, I think she turned out great. I think that this is the best that I've done for a template yet, up until that mistake at the end there, which I think just, it globbed. It was more wet than I thought it was, and it globbed, and I don't like it. But again, when it comes to painting minis, no mistake is the end. We can take a swab of acetone, and we can fix just those parts and leave the rest of it untouched, and it's going to look great. With all that said, I've been Trey. We've been the Full Spectrum. We're back next week, building a Heavy Arms Endless Walk custom, high grade. Until next time, we'll be back. Sorry, I'm thrown off because of that mistake I just made. But until next time, we'll be back Monday, of course. MO Mondays, Tuesday with the regular podcast, Wednesday with Rungren's assignment, Thursday with the D&D podcast as we build a rogue in 1D&D and 5e, and next week with the Heavy Arms. I've been Trey. Again, this has been the Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the Full Spectrum, that painting minis has